What's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. This is episode 11 of the Champ is Here podcast. Today, we actually have a different guest on. Recently, I brought on NAIA All-Americans and national champions. This time, I actually am bringing on a guy who did not become an All-American or not become a national champion, but he is a great wrestler, and he seems like a really good guy, and he had a really fun, funky style, and he loves wrestling. And I just think it's good for me to show you guys that it's okay. Like, you still have value regardless of if you've placed at state or nationals or won state or nationals. That's not exactly what I care about on this podcast. It's not just promoting the guys who did win, but really it's promoting the NAIA. And this guy, he wrestled in the NAIA his whole career, or at least for the most part that I know of. And he was fun to watch, and it's really sad that he couldn't actually end up placing. He went 0-2 at nationals this year. I believe losing to Trent Munoz and then a kid from Vanguard. Trent Munoz ended up being the national finalist. He lost 5-2 that guy, and then he lost 8-7 or 8-5 in overtime to the Vanguard kid. But he's a really knowledgeable guy, and I'm super excited to have him on and to talk. Hope you guys enjoy the podcast. More episodes coming soon. Let's get going. Douglas Peppers.
Man, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. I'm just chilling. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm super, super excited. I'm just loving it. D1 Nationals is what I live for, to watch. So this is a great.
About the only time wrestling's on TV. So it's
Yeah,
cool.
I know. The NAI, I guess we're on once a year, maybe. We're on ESPN3 though, so I'm not sure it counts.
Put on the back burner, bro.
Yeah, dude, it's okay. It's okay. Well, shoot, dude, let's get right into it because we have a lot to talk about, and because we're going to talk about you, obviously, and then we're going to do some like Division I predictions because I have to, because the week is here. So, I have to nerd out a little bit. Do you follow wrestling, like, besides just your own training?
A good bit. Honestly, this year I've really been focused on me. It being my senior year at this school, just trying to be the best I could be. But yeah, I mean, I definitely had my favorites. I had my picks. I was going to be in the draft this year, but swamped with school and student teaching right now. So I just kind of was like, you guys got it. Like, go ahead. I'll be all right.
Yeah. I'm never going to do any of that stuff. I always am like, nope, don't put any money in anything. I just talk shit with my friends and talk about wrestling.
Yes, sir.
Anyways, where are you from? Are you from Georgia?
Yes, sir. I'm from Social Circle, dude. It's like tiny, super tiny town, one red light. Like you walk in the front door of the high school and the middle school is to the left and the high school is to the right.
Right.
Super small town, but dude, it like breathes, eats, sleeps wrestling. That's
Really?
all they do is wrestle, man. So
do you know Camden, Georgia?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's way down near Florida, down on the line pretty much. It's way down south.
That's where my roommate is from, and he wrestled for Lindsay also. He was a state champ there. But yeah, dude, I actually didn't know Georgia had such a good wrestling culture until I got into college, and then I was like, damn, Georgia is super good. Like compared to like other southern states, Georgia's probably the best one, I'd say.
It's getting there. It's getting there, and it's a lot of clubs. Like so they had a big class that just came through. I mean, still coming through. Henson and Horn and all those guys, some of the best in the country, started out. That was like the first group that really had like a set club. Like you had like Arturo's Compound, the Wrestling Academy with Arturo, and then you had TWC, or the Wrestling Center was with Arturo, and then the Academy was with Kawa back in the day. The clubs are really what have made it what it is now.
It's super huge. In Kentucky, we probably have like 5 prominent clubs. And that's not a good thing because, I mean, Kentucky's a huge state. Honestly, we probably have 3 or 4 that are like really competitive as far as like they actually go out and have people place in national tournaments. It's not a lot. It's kind of sad a bit. But I mean, I have friends from PA who are like, we have like 100 clubs. And I'm like, dang, like 100 and plus clubs.
And they're all hammers.
They're all like they might suck for PA, but like relative.
Sure. They come to the Southeast and kick ass.
Super easily. So I think you coach, right? I think I saw.
Yeah, man. I coach at a club up in Brazelton, Houston area near Athens. It's called Roundtree Wrestling Academy. Dude, I love it. I started there during COVID, and I literally, like, I was home, like we got sent home for COVID from college.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at places on my phone, like trying to find a gym to train at. And this Roundtree Wrestling Academy popped up. I walked in there just to see what was up. And dude, they took me in with open arms and we ran with it, dude. I've been there ever since and I love it, dude. I've built such a like connection with the kids and the parents, and Coach Sammy Roundtree, he's the freaking man. That's where I've been training at. I trained there this past summer, getting ready this year, and I've been coaching there too. I travel and all that. Dude, they take great care of me, and I love it. So
Heck yeah, dude. That's that is really awesome because it's cool. I don't know if you're going to continue doing that now that you're done wrestling, but yeah, I mean, that's all I do. I'm a full-time coach. I don't have a normal 9-to-5 job. I have a wrestling club. It's small, has 23 kids right now. And then I also do privates like every single day. Plus I train for jiu-jitsu, but it's like, I would not rather be doing anything else. I love coaching. It's like my passion. And I used to tell myself when I was like in college, I was like, I'm never going to coach. Like, no, there's no way. Like I don't really, I like wrestling, but like, there's no way that I'm going to become a wrestling coach. Do you ever feel that way? Or did you?
dude, I've always, I mean, of course, while like I still got 1 year competition eligibility left, kind of waiting. Yeah, dude, I got 1 year left.
Man, you better go back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
I'm hungry, bro.
Yeah,
but,
dude.
I have like I've always loved helping out and coaching. Like my degree is education. I'm graduating in April with an early childhood degree, and I've always wanted to be a teacher and a coach. That's just where I feel led. Like that's just who I am. It's part of me. Dude. But dude, I lived the same life this summer. I was coaching privates, like going to kids' houses. They had wrestling mats in their basement. So I mean, I've lived that life and I freaking love it. I love coaching wrestling. I love everything about it. And I used to hate it. Like I treated it as like a job, but now that I'm like older, I've developed more of an appreciation for it because I know that like my matches are numbered.
They are.
Me at this point, like it's not what I take with me, it's what I leave behind to a lot of the kids I coach and train with, and really like my teammates now, like they all know I love them, do anything for them. But the coaching aspect, dude, I love it. Anything I can help in the room, even at college, like training and stuff, like I try to help, but I also, I mean, I'm taking in things from them. I'm also giving them things. You know how it is, man. You're in a college room.
Yeah, dude, it is. When I was at Lindsay, it was like I felt like an assistant coach sometimes, but it's good. I actually don't like coaching like not that I've had a purely college coaching job, but from the environment, I don't like college coaching anywhere near as much as I do K through 12. I think there's like especially since like we're younger, there's a little bit less respect because we're basically a peer. I love that about like coaching kids because, you know, they just look up to you. Like if you say you wrestled in college, they're like, you're like, their eyes get big and they're like, wow, like I want to wrestle in college. Like this guy's done what I want to do. Like I want to listen to this guy. Again, not all kids are like that, but for the most part, it's super huge. So you got 1 more year left. I'm just going to say, I think you should do it. We're gonna talk to this podcast. I'm gonna ask you deep questions, man. You're the first person I've had on who's not an All-American or not a national champion yet, and that's great because I think you easily could be a national champion. Honestly, I don't say that about everyone. Like anyone, like not all people who lost and didn't place can be national. That's not it. But like I like your first round match was the first match I watched at NAIA because I just turned on Flow and that was literally the first one up and I was like, dang, this was like really, really good, tough match.
Good scrap, bro. Good scrap. And
yeah,
I get chills thinking about it. I get chills, man.
Yeah, it was
stud, man. What do? You tip your cap and you keep moving, but
100%. Yeah, he's a real stud, man. And I honestly had him like in the back of my head, he was my dark horse to win the whole weight class. I'm surprised.
Sure. 74 was deep, man. 74 was deep.
Yeah, dude.
Really anybody's weight though. I mean, we knew Randall's from Grandview was a hammer. We knew Eichert was a hammer, didn't even make the podium, which you know, that is what that tournament, whatever, you know. But really 74 was wide open, you know.
It was.
Kelly from Southeastern, he's a dog. We knew Munoz was tough. His record was insane. Unheard of, 56-1 head.
Yeah. Yeah.
You knew I was up there. I've competed with all those guys. I've beat Eichert, beat Kelly. Kelly's beat me. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
man, we all go back and forth. You shake us up, and we're all going to pan out differently. So we knew that
Yep.
weight was going to be tough, and we knew it was going to be a tough tournament. But
It was. I was really surprised, man. I mean, I was pumped because Lindsay had a good performance at the weight. Joe,
yeah, man,
yeah,
Coots,
man,
it's Stella.
yeah, he finally got on the podium, man. I think he was one of those guys that I seen like when I first met him. I thought, 4-time All-American. His high school coach was David Carr. Nate Carr. Sorry, Nate
Yeah,
Carr
Nate.
Sr. David Carr lives in Kentucky, who's Nate's brother. But
Yeah.
yeah, Nate Carr and his like main practice partner was Nate Carr Jr., Division I national champion. It's like Joe was like one of those guys who, like we were talking, he like helped run practices sometimes at Lindsay because his technique was hands down like better than most of all of ours, including myself. But putting it together in a match is completely different than actually being a really good wrestler.
Because
It's super because I was not the best wrestler at Lindsay by a long shot. I mean, but luckily, again, I was a heavyweight. It was a little less packed, and I kind of did all the right things, and I knew how to perform. But doesn't mean you're the best wrestler. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's just who's the best guy on that day, and I just
yeah,
did it. I just did it a couple of times.
100%, dude.
Yeah, dude. That's
I know
how.
how it is. Mental is huge. That was my problem in years past, and I started to get over that hump. I think pinning Eichert was a huge, like, I don't know. Sometimes it takes that one big thing to happen to get you over that mental hump and like really build your confidence. And I had coaches all my life. Everyone around me has believed in me and like, man, you can really like do it. And I believe it now. Like you said earlier, man, like me to not place does not, my body of work speaks for it. And
Yeah.
how hard I've worked to get to where I'm at. It's been a crazy journey, but I've always had people to believe in me, but I never believed in myself until really this year. Is when I really turned that like mental hump, and I figured it out, and I started winning those big matches. The talent's always been there, but for me, it was a lot of mental like doubt, I would say. This year, I just tried to leave no stone unturned, tried to work as hard as I could and kind of be where my feet are, and try to block out the outside noise, all the doubt, like kick it to the side. It's hard though, man. It's hard. It catches up with you.
It does. Yeah, it really does. You definitely have to mental. Here's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, mental work, like basically mental exercise or just mental training compounds. So like you have to be consistently and daily trying to get better in those areas. Like for me, the way I did it was I read a lot of books, specifically like Jocko Willing, David Goggins, Jordan Peterson, guys like that. And I consistently wrote shit down and took notes and wrote down my goals. And it's like eventually, because when I first started wrestling in college, I wasn't who I became. But I got lucky. I found mentors, and my mentors helped me find things that would allow like my mental strength in basically all areas to compound. And by the time I was a fucking junior, dude, I just had I say it, excuse my language, but I had the biggest dick in the world. Like that's what I thought.
That's how it's got to
Yeah.
be, dude. Nobody
Yeah.
can touch you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it is really hard to get there. It is, especially like, in the NAI, one of the craziest things that tends to happen is there's so many transfers. So every single year there's always a new guy. So it's like, you think this really good guy's graduate? Well, looky here. Here's another Division I transfer who's come in, another Division II transfer who's come in. And that can be like a mental punch to the head. I mean, I thought I was living the best life ever when I beat Corey Walker my sophomore year. And this dude didn't even compare to the people who were in the field the next year, like I had Tanner Farmer, Division I transfer. It was like, fuck, like I thought
Yeah.
I was good. And but it's learning to take like those little things and like turn them into good things. Like, okay, cool. For me, like Tanner's a Division I transfer. Greg Hagan was a Division I transfer. It's like, all right, let me just show you guys. It doesn't matter that they're Division I transfers. Like I'm gonna kick these dudes' asses.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not always the case. But what was your like high school accolades like when you were there?
So I was a baseball kid, dude. I grew up like baseball, baseball, baseball. Man, I was on a ton of travel teams. Every weekend I was picking up with a new team. My mom was really, really good at softball. Dad was really good at baseball. So it's like in my blood to play baseball. And I was a hell of a baseball player growing up. But as I got older, I just kind of fell in love with wrestling. I started wrestling in 7th grade and it kind of took over. I had a knee surgery. I was a catcher in baseball and I had a knee surgery that kind of stopped me from catching. And I started to kind of fall out of love with baseball. And what better sport to go to if you have jacked up knees than wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Way better for your knees. But I started wrestling. It kind of took over. I was at a baseball school, or the high school I went to before I transferred to Social Circle was Loganville High School, and it was all baseball. And so like I would go into practice every day and I would wrestle with my coach, and I was still like, it wasn't like a good wrestling program. Wasn't really what I needed and what I wanted for myself. And I knew that there was no way I was going to wrestle in college or be at the level I'm at now if I didn't. I needed change. So I ended up transferring to Social Circle. The coaches there, dude, Coach Klein, Randy Prater, Roger Strong, like all those guys, they are awesome. They made me, and the drill partners I had there, man, we won on a run of 5 in a row, and I was there for 2 of those dual titles. And then so I went at Loganville. I never placed at state, never even qualified for the tournament, dude. Like bad at wrestling. Always athletic, always strong, but like bad at wrestling. To the partners, the coaching, the structure, winning 2 state titles at Social Circle, and that was awesome. Like never made it to the state tournament, went 2 for 2.
Isn't that crazy?
Time took 1 summer, dude. 1 summer of structure, doing the right things, picking up some weights occasionally. Like that's where, I mean, it paid off. Training partners, all that just kind of went into it. But I'm really thankful that I transferred. Probably the best decision we ever made. My parents, dude, they were all for it. Like we put up our house for sale, ended up selling way quicker than we expected. And we were at the point where like, oh shit, like we got to find somewhere to live, or like we're gonna be homeless for a little bit. But like found somewhere to live right in downtown Social Circle. The coaches helped out, the community helped out. Like it was great, man. It all worked out. And looking back now, that was 6 years ago, and it's crazy. Like I'm getting old.
Yeah, dude, we're some old ass farts, man.
Right?
That is crazy though. Dude, training partners do excel you. Like when I was in high school, I was the same. I actually got second at state, not having a wrestling club or whatever. And then I found a wrestling club after I got second because they recruited me. I actually never ended up winning state because I lost my last year of eligibility because I moved. But I ended up placing at Fargo, so I knew I would have won state, you know. But I found that wrestling club, and it was my first time ever having like real drill partners, like real good college level drill partners. Like all the guys, we had like 5 different guys go Division I, and we had like 20 to 25 different guys go to the NAIA, including Ryan Moore, who was in the national finals this year. And then Derek Smallwood was there, you know, Trent Johnson was there, Trevor Lawson. Isn't that funny? Like there's a lot of Lindsay guys, and then obviously Ryan's at Thomas More. But there's just so many guys in that room that like my wrestling went from like super mediocre to just from like just a athletic 220 to like I had some technique now. Like I actually know how to take shots.
Man that can move is dangerous. You start figuring out a little bit of wrestling, like
that's what I tell people, man. I'm like, honestly, yeah, like if you're a 82 pounder or above in high school, it's like get one really good shot and have extremely solid defense. And you can worry about like the rest later. Like in college, I do think you need to learn how to scramble. And you need to learn a little bit more technique. But man, in high school, I swear I was a killer with a high crotch. Like that's it, a high crotch.
Oh, post I see. Boom.
Yeah, literally. And now, like in college, I literally never hit a high crotch, which I don't get. How that I became an ankle pick guy in college, but
I've noticed that, man. All the stuff you post is ankle picks, pulling the head.
Yeah, I can do it with my eyes closed, man. It's yeah, and it's because I wrestled guys like Trevor Lawson in the room at Lindsay, where I couldn't hit them with like high season stuff. Like I could never finish them. Well, I got really good at ankle picking, but yeah, having good partners really is important. That's why I stayed at Lindsay Wilson and I didn't go anywhere else. Was because Lindsay had such good partners for me, like relative to my size. And how about you? How about you guys? I really don't know much about your team, to be honest.
Well, The reason I came down here, I wasn't heavily recruited out of high school. I had a few schools reach out to me, like the local schools in Georgia, Reinhardt, Bruton Parker, Life. Those schools were reaching out to me. I was in a small school, so we were 2A. So we kind of got put on the back burner as well as far as accolades go. Like, were you really a state champ? Like, well, yeah, we walked out there, you know what I mean? But reason why I went down south to Bruton Parker in South Georgia was the coach we had at the time. His name was Tim Mitchum. You might know Coach Mitchum. Taller, yeah. So Mitchum, he's the man. He wrestled with me a lot. Did a lot of technique with him. A lot of my style comes from him. Social circle, we were super gritty, super physical, just stingy as can be. Mitchum was a lot more smooth flow, like technical. Everything has a purpose. We're always doing something with our hands. A lot of footwork. That's how Mitchum was. So I wrestled with Coach Tim a lot. And partners, Bruton Parker has always had hammers. Like every year they've got the potential to be really, really, really good. Getting all of our ducks in a line weight wise. And then grades have always been an issue at Bruton Parker. A lot of the guys can't seem to hold it together in a little hometown or a little small town. Disciplinary issues, injury bug always gets us pretty bad. I've been really fortunate. I've kind of tried to stay the course, kind of just keep the blinders on, focus long-term goal. Training partner aspect though, I've always had guys there. It might have only been one guy or a guy or two, like, not like the rooms you're naming where you've got 5-6 guys that are badasses and will push you, but I've always had a really good coach that would wrestle with me. Our new coach, Coach Mason, anytime I would hit him up, bored, hey man, want to go wrestle? He's like, sure, meet you at the gym in 20. You know what I mean? Anytime. So Coach Mason, Coach Mitchum, guys like Lucas Da Silva, who made the podium this year at 84. Ryan Long, who went to Cumberland in Tennessee this year and wrestled 65, 57 with Cole Smith all year, who ended up winning it. Ryan Long, Lucas Da Silva. I'm trying to think. My coaches. I had a guy my freshman year. He was our 49-pounder from Buchanan out in Cali. And his name is Dean Escabel. Me and him used to hand fight like hell.
Yeah, I think I remember him. I think I've heard his name before.
Asian guy, long hair. Yeah, he was tough, man. Really, really tough in the practice room. Really, really tough. Me and him used to get into it. He was 49. I was sucking my way down to 57 at the time. So he and I were right there. Always had guys though, man. Even guys that never made the line, or never made the line. Oh. What happened?
I still see you. Do you see me? Yeah.
See you.
That's okay. No rush.
All right, trying to figure it out.
Maybe I would go to where it says your video and click on the arrow.
I can see you. You're in the corner, but we can keep rolling.
For sure.
I always had partners, even guys that like weren't in our order, whether it was disciplinary actions or grades or whatever the case was. Always had hammers to wrestle with. Not quite like the number you had, of course. You got 5 guys that are there, but is what it is, dude. That's why I love Bruton Parker, dude. It's been a great place for me these past 4 years. I've grown a lot as a person, found myself a little bit, but I'm kind of ready for change, ready for different structure, new faces, fresh start, training partners, man. Would love to put my hands on some new guys. You kind of can see where my head's at. We got people.
I know
exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. Well, hey, you have 1 more year of eligibility. You don't have to stay at Bruton Parker, man.
I'm gonna use it, baby. I'm gonna use it.
Yeah, and man, I would even like I mean, and this is nothing against Bruton Parker, like, and because lots of people do this. Like, there's nothing wrong with transferring. I mean, you've done your time there. If you really were like, I want to like really commit to being on a team where I have a ton of studs who are gonna make me a lot better and who are gonna push me at least beyond the podium. Transferring is not a bad idea, especially if you go to school and you don't have to go far. there's, I mean, I'm a little bit biased, but Lindsey Wilson's a great place to go, of course. Cumberland, Tennessee is a great place to go. Campbellsville actually has a pretty decent team too. You don't have to go to like crazy far, but dude, it might be what you need. You might need to go somewhere where it's totally new, totally new people. You're uncomfortable because discomfort is what makes people grow. And maybe staying at Broome Parker, someone can become a national champion in Broome Parker, but maybe you have to go to a different school to maybe learn a different way to get there.
Yeah. So Bruton Parker doesn't have a master's program, and so I'm definitely going to go somewhere else anyway. If they had a master's, man, I'm the kind of guy, I'll ride, man. Like, I'll put my head down and I'll keep going.
Yeah, you'd have stayed.
That's just how I've always been, man. Yeah, I would probably stay if they had a master's program, but they don't. So, and you mentioned Cumberland, Tennessee. I've been in contact with Coach Hicks. I'm looking to visit up there soon. Honestly, I'm going to explore my options, dude. I'm going to see what.
Explore your options.
Yeah.
Are you going for education? You have master's in education? Like,
I haven't decided if I'm going to do education, special ed, early childhood, or educational leadership. And then I'm also looking at MBA. I really haven't decided. I'm kind of open. I'm still doing my student teaching, still kind of figuring out what I want to do in life.
Yeah.
So just up in the air still, dude. No idea. It's kind of day by day.
Yeah, dude, up in the air for sure. And it's only been like a week really since NAIA ended. So it's not really, there's definitely no rush. Do you know Jamil? Because Jamil was at Bruton Park.
Yeah, dude. Point, right? Yeah, I know Jamil. Every time I see him, I'm like, man, we got a hand fight. Let me get my hand fight with you. I know he loves the hand fight. I know he loves his elbow passes. Yeah, I know Jamil really well. He and I always got along great. And I talked to him at the national tournament, by the way. Or about a week ago, I talked to him at the national tournament. And he was like, man, you should come up and wrestle. So I've talked to Jamil, talked to Coach Hicks at Cumberland, Patrick down at Southeastern. He's got it going on. Kaiser down there in West Palm Beach, Reinhardt, Coach Bedard. Man, I'm going to see
those are all some good options, man.
Exactly.
Those are all really, Southeastern has a stud of a team right now too.
That's kind of what I'm looking at, man. I'm just seeing what money's like, seeing what feels like home.
Those are huge things. I mean, you're an adult. I don't have to fucking tell you. Yeah, like money, who your training partners are, the education that you want to get. I think it's going to be great because I could see if you get like the right room and the right training partners and the right coach to like really push you, you can definitely be on the podium, if not win it for sure.
And that's what talent's always been there. Like I said, talent has always been there. It's just mental and a little bit of structure. Injuries have been the bane of my existence through my college career. Injuries have been crazy. 2 weeks before, or a week before the conference tournament, I broke my ribs. I broke my 10th rib on my left side. And that sucked. Like, I wrestled at the conference. I didn't think I was going to wrestle the night before the conference tournament. We were kind of going to bank on that wild card. Ended up the coaches meeting. My coach was honest with the guys in Mid-South South Division. Like, look, Peppers has a broken rib, hasn't practiced much this week. He's on weight. He can wrestle, but man, literally just broke his rib. Coaches were like, would like to see him on the mat a little bit. So I said, yeah, sure. Like, let's freaking bang, So wrestled a couple matches, won my first round bout, forfeited in the semis to Eichert at conference. Wasn't going to beat him with a broken rib. Just wasn't.
Yeah, he's tough.
Won a match on the backside, forfeited in the con finals, got my wild card bid. Took the next 2 weeks in between conference and nationals. The first week was, I was healing. Like, I was sitting on my butt healing, doing what I could, of course. I was biking. Doing what I could, cardio, staying in shape, still trying to make sure I can somewhat peak at that time. And then that last week, the week before nationals, a week out, I started to get back on the mat. Didn't drill hardly any top or bottom, all on my feet. That week, getting on weight, sharpening everything up on my technique, on my feet, getting my footwork right. But dude, the injury bug has been rough. So waiting on that year to like be healthy. Haven't really had a healthy season of wrestling since senior year, but every year I get older, like I'm feeling better throughout the year. like I'm feeling stronger. I don't cut weight. Like I'm not a weight cutter at all. I
Yeah,
weighed
yeah, yeah.
70 pounds the 2 days before the tournament.
Yeah.
So I've never been a weight cutter, and I'm healthy, strong, but injury bug's been rough, but that's all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I broke a rib also. My junior year, I broke a rib and tore my LCL, like both right before nationals, and it does suck, man. It really does. It's super limiting, and it can be like a confidence drainer too, like a really big mental thing. So that's one of those things where you're just like, I got a tattoo on my chest right here that says good, and it's from Jocko, and it's from a book, and it's basically about shifting your perspective when bad shit happens, basically. And it's like injuries happen. You kind of just have to be like, good, fuck it. This really sucks. But it's hard. It's harder to say. I mean, it's easier to say than to do, but yeah, you're an old man now. It's just learning to accept it that you're old, and maybe even changing up your training a little bit. Like one of the things I made sure to do is that I was training less pure wrestling. I mean, I was still wrestling every day, but I was doing more focus on like drilling and going slow and finding flows. Not going like when I was a freshman, sophomore, I was going balls to the walls with live wrestling. And then the older I got, the more of a flow I had found, and it really did help me with preventing my injuries. But
Yeah.
then there's always freak accidents,
Yeah, dude, for sure.
That's
Going back to like the mental side of things, when it first happened, dude, when I broke my rib before conference of this year, it like I was for a couple days there, I was like, man, F this, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like my time has come, I'm good. But
yeah,
I ended up coming to practice, I sucked it up. My coach was like, come on now, like you really gonna like, come on now. So coming back to practice, ended up going to my coached at a high school before he came here.
Mhm.
We went to high school practice, and I was rolling around with some of their guys. They're legit guys. Like one of them's committed to UTC.
Yeah.
Logan Paradise, he's a freaking hammer. But I was rolling around with him, and his dad comes over, and he was like, man, I heard about your rib. Like, everything all right? And he told me something that I will probably never forget for as long as I live. And it's a wounded man is a dangerous man, just as a wounded dog is a dangerous dog. Like, you ever go messing around with a dog that's got a hurt leg, that thing will turn around and bite your ass.
Yeah.
But a wounded man is a dangerous man, and it's literally written in my notebook. It's written on my mirror in there. A wounded man is a dangerous man, and that was my mentality going forward. And like before the Munoz match, before my first round bout at nationals, dude, man, I had never felt like that in my life, dude. I was so ready to go, so dialed. I didn't care if I hadn't been on the mat much at all. Like
Right.
he was gonna have to kill me, and like it was a damn good match, and I'm
It was a great
thankful.
match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I'm thankful. It was fun, and it's okay to lose, dude. That's life.
It is okay. It
It's
doesn't matter. We're
how you come back from it that makes
yeah,
you the man you are,
that's right. We're not defined by the wins or losses. I mean,
No
that's my
doubt.
biggest thing, right? Is I'm not defined by the sport that I do. I'm a whole person, and I'm not the sport. I'm not jujitsu. I'm not wrestling. You're not one thing. You can't put yourself in the box. It's just like you're not just a parent, or you're not just a boyfriend, or you're not just your job.
Yeah.
Because when bad shit happens in one of those labels, if you are just that thing, it's like the world crashes down with you. And that's why I really advise people to be like, no, I'm more than my sport. If I lose, okay. If I win, okay. It's really out of my control. When the result happens, it's out of my control. But I'm going to train as hard as I can, and whatever happens, happens. I'm gonna let it fly. But regardless, love myself, I love my life. I'm lucky, I'm blessed, and I'm happy. And those are kind of like the things that I just tell myself, like, who gives a fuck if you lose, dude?
Right.
No one cares. Just
Leave
don't
no
be a
stone
shitty.
unturned,
No, yeah,
leave no stone unturned. But at the end of the day, I would much rather be, and I'm going to be the best father ever, the best husband ever, the best friend ever, all those things, best teacher ever. If I'm a teacher one day, best coach in the world. But wrestling, man, it's so temporary. Like in the
it
span of one
is.
life, it is so temporary. Leave no stone unturned. Get all you can out of it. But at the end of the day, dude, there's so much more to life than a sport, and that's kind of one thing I've realized as the season's finished up. I'm way more than just a competitor. I'm a brother. I'm not a literal brother, but a
Yeah,
brother. I'm a
yeah,
friend. I'm a teammate. I'm a coach. I'm gonna be a husband one day, gonna be a father one day, and I'm gonna be kick ass at all those things.
That's
So
right. Yep. Just don't be the shitty wrestling dad.
What's up?
So just don't be the shitty wrestling dad. Don't be the
Right?
crazy
Never,
wrestling dad.
dude. Never. It's
That's
just
what I
wrestling,
hope.
man. It's just wrestling.
Yeah, it's just wrestling.